Sure. I note for the record that all of us are here, so we have a quorum. And
recording in progress.
With your leave, I will pass this over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This meeting has been noticed as a State Loan and Investment Board special meeting for the Transportation Enterprise Account Grant and Loan Program funding. Also, the meeting has been noticed for executive session of the State Loan and Investment Board after the TEA portion has concluded. The item on the agenda today is J1. It's to consider two applications, one for regular grant funding and one for emergency grant funding from the Transportation Enterprise Account Grant and Loan Program. This program was created in the 1999 legislative session for purposes of fostering transportation investments and projects of benefit to the general public within the state. In this program, the board can make grants and loans to public entities, although historically, project funding has been in the form of grants to public transportation providers for the purchase of vehicles. The legislature has approved $2 million in spending authority for the 2023-2024 biennium, but these funds are subject to available investment income granted by the Transportation Trust Fund. This is the first TEA meeting of the 23-24 biennium. There is a projected $1,001,904 shortfall in interest revenues. The projected balance is $998,096. OSLI received, as I mentioned, two applications. One is a regular TEA application totaling $56,000 from the Evanston Youth Boys and Girls Club, and the emergency TEA application totals $91,440 from Weston County Children's Center, Region 3 Developmental Services. The Evanston Youth Boys and Girls Club, they are seeking a 12 to 15 passenger van due to increased usage of its program. This program provides human services for at-risk folks of disadvantaged youth and their families in Uintah County, including Evanston, Bear River, Mountain View, and Lyman. They can transport youth and their families to appointments and various functions year-round. They are seeking 80% of the cost through a TEA grant. They are bringing 20% matching funds. The Weston County Children's Center, they provide special education and related services to children from birth through age 5 in Crook and Weston counties. Their staff travels many miles to provide services to children with disabilities. They contacted OSLI after the application due date for the regular TEA funding, seeking assistance for their vehicles. We thought it appropriate to consider their application an emergency application and bring it to the board at this meeting rather than holding it for the December 1st regular board meeting. As I mentioned, they're seeking three vehicles. One of their vehicles that would be replaced has already been taken to the salvage yard. The other two have many miles. They are seeking 100% funding for the vehicles. As required by our rules, we have provided the information to WYDOT, but these two entities do not participate in the WYDOT transit program, and so therefore the traditional rankings and information we received from WYDOT was not provided. So it is our recommendation, Mr. Chairman, to fully fund both the regular and emergency applications, which total $147,440, as described in the full funding recommendation spreadsheet and the board matter. So with that, I yield the floor back to you for any questions of staff.
Fantastic. Thank you, Madam Director. Are there any questions? Any questions? I do have one. Is there an advantage to participating in the WYDOT program? Beth or Ms. Blackwell?
Or you can use mine.
Mr. Governor, the benefits of the WYDOT program, I think the benefits are that program requires participants to have regular maintenance to their programs. Their drivers are required to take special training. They have to meet certain requirements to be eligible within their program because that program also provides funding for vehicles. That would be the benefit to it is, I think,
Do they enjoy special pricing on vehicles? Do you know?
I think they can at times. I know the last year, maybe 2 years, their cycle has been disrupted based on the pandemic. So the grants that were awarded last year and the year before, we're still working with them to get their vehicles.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Treasurer?
I would move Director's Recs on these two vehicles in the total amount of $147,440.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Is there support for the treasurer's motion?
Second?
It's been seconded by the auditor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. I think that carried it. It's too bad is there anything else to come before the regular meeting besides the executive session? Otherwise, I was going to call the Buchanan and just tell him I think I beat his record. Both sides.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Secretary.
I know we just passed this, and I'm good with that, but just wondering on the Weston, they've got a quote from the dealership, but it's only referencing one. Are the other two identicals then? And then I don't see one for the Evanston one, a quote from them.
I believe we have a representative from Weston County, but my assumption is that is for 3 of those types of vehicles. A lot of times we don't generally get a quote with our applications. A lot of times they get an X amount of money and they go out and try to find the vehicle that fits the category that we approved a vehicle in for the amount of money that we've provided.
Okay, thank you.
So is there someone from Weston County here? There you are. How are you? If you could just step up. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Thank you for letting me join you.
If you could just identify yourself for the record.
I'm Lisa Lovett. I'm the Special Ed Coordinator for Region 3.
Thank you, Lisa. Do you have questions for?
Just, that was my only question was I am assuming that is for 3 then, even though it's saying the 1. They're going to be identical.
It is for 3, and he just quoted us on 1, but it's 3 identical vehicles. They're used for the same thing. So we don't transport children too often. We do if they need transportation, but it's mostly to get our staff to the kids.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I hope you enjoy them.
I
look
am
good.
so excited. We don't usually get free gifts, so it is amazing. So I appreciate all that you have done for us.
Well, and thank you very much. This is a great program and we're really, it's helpful, I think, for communities particularly. And so I thank you for being here. Thank you for making the drive down here.
No problem. I'm glad to be here.
And I hope it's snowing up north.
It is snowing. My husband called this morning and he said the roads are slick. There's people in the ditch. So I brought my personal car because I didn't trust our work cars.
Well, thank you. Be safe going home.
I will. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
God bless.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone.
Anything else? Okay, Madam Director.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes the agenda for the special State Loan and Investment Board meeting to handle the Transportation Enterprise Account funding. But it was, as I mentioned, the meeting was also noticed for executive session of the Slib. So I will yield the floor back to you on that.
All right, I would entertain a motion to enter executive session for the appropriate matters. I think, Madam Auditor, you always have this language properly teed up in your head.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we enter into executive session for the statutorily allowed reason of receiving legal advice.
Second.
It's been moved, it's been seconded by the Secretary of State. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. We'll just take a moment to